So glad you're listening on a Tuesday. I've got Mel Mattison, always a fun show with Mel. And let me just tell you, this is so fascinating, Mel. And Mel, you know what? You're hitting on all cylinders. You're getting it right. Birch Gold actually came out with an article that talked about experts are targeting $3,000 next for gold, and you had mentioned this on last week's show that it was going to jump. It was going to jump, and a lot of people agreeing with you. It's in for a big jump. So amazing. So thank you. I love all the work that you do.
Well, you know what? I'm not always that on target, but it was literally the day or the day
Yeah.
after gold jumped $50 in one day. And
Amazing.
it was just the way the charts were lining up.
Hmm.
I'd mentioned that it looked like there'd been this consolidation since the spring between around 23, 2,500. And
Hmm.
it looked like it clearly wanted to go
Yeah.
above 2,500. And that's what it did last week. That's a big breakout for
Yeah.
gold and first time ever in
Yeah.
spot gold market over 2,500. And right now, gold futures are sitting, they got close to 2,600 today on gold
Hmm.
futures. They got 2,570 and pulled back a little bit. So it's looking ready to go. And 3,000 gold by the end of the year or something. I think I've
Hmm.
been saying for 6 months since I came on,
Right.
I've been calling for $3,000 gold. And surprisingly, I've also been calling for 6,000 on the S&P 500. Even during all that
Yeah.
craziness 2 weeks ago, I was saying, look, we have the central banks that they're just pumping the system full of money.
Yep.
The federal government with all their fiscal spending, their
Hmm.
infrastructure acts, we're just flooding the system with dollars right now. And anytime there's a hiccup, it just
Hmm.
bounces right back. That's what it's done. And I think what we're seeing today, and this is really telling, is the dollar is really falling against other currencies. It's at a 13-month low against the pound. We're just seeing this dollar weakness, and it happens to coincide with once the betting markets. I hate to say it, but the betting markets are now favoring Kamala to win in November.
Hmm.
And so when we had peak Trump um, going to win the election, that was July 16th. That was before all of the yen collapse in Japan and all
Hmm.
of this craziness. And we had a relatively kind of stronger dollar. And then once people started thinking maybe it's not going to be Trump, you've just seen this dollar weakness accelerate. And so all of that is bullish for gold. And I think no matter who gets
Hmm.
in, it's bullish for gold because we have these structural inflationary problems in place that nobody can fix in a 4-year period. It's just going to happen.
Okay. Interesting. Fascinating. And natural gas.
Natural gas has, this is just part of the craziness that we're living in, where this week the Wall Street Journal comes out with an article, glut of natural gas forcing drillers to dial it back again.
Mm.
And natural gas a couple years ago was trading close to $9 per million BTU. That's the way
Mm-hmm.
they categorize it. British thermal unit is what it stands for. But you can think about it, natural gas is at 9. Now it's at $2. And
Hmm.
natural gas, most of it doesn't go for heating stoves. That's a very small amount of it, of
Right.
your gas range in your house. Most of it goes to power plants. So this is for electrical supply. And yet we're having electric prices go up. Why? Because we have so much energy, we don't know what to do with it, but we don't have the power plants to use it because they won't let anybody build a fossil fuel power plant, even though American natural gas is the cleanest, most dependable source of energy on the planet. They want us to build windmills and put,
Yeah.
Lord knows what offshore that dolphins and whales can run into so that we can have sporadic power that costs $1 million to generate. So it's just part of this craziness, the Green New scam, that we have gas drillers shutting down rigs because there's just too much energy and nowhere to put it because we don't have the power plants being built thanks to regulations in Washington, D.C.
And they're over there celebrating what a great job they're doing. You can't make that up. You can't make it up. I mean, everything,
Yeah,
nothing works. Yeah.
and I love their day one stuff when they've been talking about the Biden Harris administration for 3.5 years. I mean, they've had 3.5 years to do any of these things,
Right.
and I mean that they
They
want to
don't,
have
yeah.
everything both ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're the puppetry of those that do not want anything to work. So, of course, they're the face of that, and they'll readily take orders, and they have for years. And they like being the puppetry. They've all profited nicely off of it. So we're going to come right back. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with Wyoming digitally. This is crazy. You're going to want to listen to this. I'll be right back with Mel Mattison. melmattison.com actually is the website. And and you're listening to KateDalleyRadio.com. melmattison.com is his website. Book is Quaz. Be right back.
There you go. Thanks for listening to the Kate Dalley.